Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome to Dharma Time. As always, I am your host, the Dharma Guy, here on WPSN99.com. And as usual, I am joined with Mr. the Duke Doctor here, who just got back in time from his water adventure there.
I had to get water, man. Agüita.
That's right, man.
Get parched.
So, welcome to Dharma Time. It is now Tuesday. It's 1 o'clock if you're watching this live. If you're not watching it live, well, I'm hoping you're enjoying the tape version of it. Either on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Dharma Time, or you're listening on one of the many different podcast platforms out there that we're on. We're on all of them, I believe. We're on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify, you name it, we're probably on it. And then, of course, you can follow us on social media. I am at the Dharma Guy. He is at the Dope Doctor. We are at WPSN99. Or you can also check us out at nowmattersmore.org. And we're at Now Matters More. The website being nowmattersmore.org, which you can help yourself or somebody else struggling with the disease of addiction by calling 833 Now Matters, which you can see right above the Dope Doctor's head there. Or you can go to nowmattersmore.org, fill an application to get some help. You can see what we do, or you can hit that little donate button. We always love donations. Thank you very much. Matter of fact, we haven't mentioned it in a while, so I'm going to go ahead and say it now. If you're watching this on Facebook and you would love to help us out, but you don't have the means to do so, a very easy way to do it is to donate your birthday via Facebook to the Now Matters More Foundation. Or you can go to smile.amazon and you can choose the Now Matters More Foundation as your chosen charity. And everything you purchase through smile.amazon, a percentage of it comes to us, and it costs you absolutely nothing. So, got all the house cleaning out of the way.
Yep.
Anything else you want to add before we get started?
Yeah, what did you say before I came on that people are defending me here?
I think they were talking about right before you left when I was saying that it depends on your definition of alien. And then
Oh,
I said, I want to see your birth certificate. So I think that was Enrique's response. It was a low blow. Hey, we're all friends here, man. We joke around, have fun. No biggie. I'm not the kicker for the Patriots. So,
speaking of friends here, did you put a bigger gauge in your ear or something? Like they seem to be flaring out a little bit more than usual today.
no, it's probably my thing got behind it. My cord.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so
Huge, man.
that's what she said. So I couldn't help that one. That was a reflex, man. All right, so let's talk about UFOs, man. So first of all, full transparency, we were trying to figure out a show to do today. By all means, if you're watching this, be it live. If you're watching this live, by all means, comment on Facebook. If you're watching a recorded version of it on YouTube, or if you're listening to a podcast, you can email us at surfmonkeymedia@gmail or dharmatimeshow@gmail, whichever one you want. Or you can find us on social media. And if there's a topic that you'd like to hear, man, that you think that we could add some value on, or something that is maybe kind of bothering you and you want to talk about or whatever, send us a note and we'll talk about it, man. Because at the moment we're struggling to find topics that aren't coronavirus related. Because we feel obligated in a sense to talk coronavirus because that's the massive thing that's happening for everybody right now. At the same token, I think everybody's starting to get coronavirus fatigue. I know I am. And so we're trying to find non-coronavirus related topics to discuss. But if there's something in particular you guys would like to hear, by all means, reach out, let us know. We'd love to talk about it. Having said that, we settled on UFOs today because I did a Google search to figure out what the top Google searches are currently. And I also looked at what was the top ones this same time last year comparatively. And I found out a few things. I found out, number one, the number one search thing last night or yesterday was the UFO because it was announced. I think it was announced maybe yesterday, but it hit the mainstream this morning. The Pentagon declassified, I think it was 3 videos that showed some UFO activity. It was originally leaked by the Blink-182 guys, foundation, I guess. And the Pentagon finally released it to prove that it was real once they were able to confirm that there's nothing in there that would jeopardize our national security. But before we get to that topic, the other thing that we found that was interesting was there was a lot of similarities between last year and this year as far as the trends are concerned. But it seems like a lot of people really don't know some basic information, and they rely on Google for that. Things like how many weeks in a year, how to boil an egg, how to make
Should be a
French
quiz.
toast. Yeah, it should be a
52.
quiz.
It should.
It was very interesting. So I saw a lot of that on there, which I thought was just a head scratching moment when I realized that we are really dependent on the internet for
Yeah.
some basic, what I feel to be common knowledge. But, anyways, I digress. Back to our original topic. So, UFOs, hotly debated topic for as long as I can remember. I think one of the earliest kind of holy crap moments for a lot of people that started this trend, and I could be wrong, was Roswell, New Mexico. From
Yeah.
what my understanding is, that was one of the first ones where it was really on the radar. Rumor has it a spacecraft, an alien spacecraft, crash landed in Roswell. The government came in, took it, and tried to cover everything up. The residents that were there at the time, tried to come out and say certain things. It just, the conspiracy theorists will tell you it was a massive cover up, and that we've been having aliens this entire time, and the government doesn't want us to know about it. So,
Real. They're everywhere.
right, I will say that there are some things that I will give some credence to. Much like everybody else, it's definitely something I'm curious about, and definitely something I have opinions on, both spiritual and non-spiritual. But the things that I have seen, some of it just feels a little close encounters, a little Hollywood magic, I guess. But there are some what I feel to be believable ones, like some of the video of specific aircraft doing things that I've never seen done before. Definitely gives me pause. And today that's what they released, right? They released 3 different videos, but I've seen ones prior to this too. I've seen some from actual astronauts up in space, seeing things moving that they didn't know, they couldn't explain. Um, I don't know. I mean, as we dive into this topic, I think we're going to start to go into more of a philosophical, overall alien discussion here.
Right.
But immediately, what are your thoughts about the releasing or the declassification of these videos? What are your thoughts?
I personally don't like when things are declassified. I'm one of those that believe that you got to be in the know. Information is very valuable, and information can be dangerous depending on who it's on. Keeping things simple helps us just stay calm. It's not that we can't handle it. It's just what do we do with the information? You know
See,
what I mean?
I think we can't handle it. I think individuals can.
Well, well,
We, the
that's
collective
what,
masses, I don't think we can handle it.
and
No.
that's really kind of what I meant. I think it's not that individuals are not strong enough to handle the information. I think it's just when we get together collectively, then we start. Someone throws out an idea.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, we all start running
We all got
toward.
pitchforks.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the only thing. And I mean, but personally, I think they've always been around. I think they're here. I think they're around. Not in a weird way. I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything like that. I just think it's ridiculous to believe that there's just not people here that just probably didn't have their roots here, including us. I don't think we're from here, to be honest with you. I don't know.
Well, I
Huh.
think
But
the
nobody knows enough to actually argue with me, so I can believe whatever the hell
yeah.
I.
Well, I think the latest theory, I believe, from Neil deGrasse Tyson and others of his ilk,
Yeah.
the latest one that I've heard, anyways, the one that sounds the most intriguing to me would be the tardigrades. In theory, the
Little things, the little rolling things.
well, yeah, in theory, meteor had tardigrades on them, crash landed here. Tardigrades came out, and evolution did its course. Tardigrades are the reason why they think that is because tardigrades are unlike anything else found on Earth at the moment. They can literally survive through pretty much anything, no matter what it is. They've found them thriving in the hottest of temperatures, the coldest of temperatures, light, dark, everything. And actually, it was a couple years ago now. The scientific community was kind of in an uproar because they sent something up to the moon, and there was a container of sorts with a bunch of tardigrades on it, and that something on the moon, whatever it was, like crashed or broke open, and all the tardigrades kind of spilled out. And so
Great.
the scientific community was kind of in an uproar, saying, you don't know what you just did, like it was kind of irresponsible, whatever, what have you.
They released Lex Luthor, is what they did.
Exactly. That aside, I tend to agree with you. I think it's a little arrogant to believe that as vast as the universe is and all the different planets and solar systems and galaxies, it's literally infinite. So the idea that we're the only living species on the entire, it feels a little arrogant to me. Do I think humans rock? Sure, why not? But do I think we're the only living thing in the entire? No, I think odds are there's plenty more life out there, and odds are there's probably more advanced than we are. Who knows? I wouldn't even say more, just differently advanced. Like there's things that just we're probably better at, and things that they're better at. But I think
Uh,
philosophically speaking, any sort of proof of life would be kind of
yeah.
earth shattering. I think to us, like right now, I think once again, philosophically speaking, I think that it's an easy thing to dismiss because there's no proof, right? It's just people believe or you don't believe. But if there was legitimate proof, then I think the questions move from do we believe or not to believe to, well, do they mean us harm? Like, why are they here? Things of that nature. I think
Dude, did
that,
you see Michael Jordan play?
what?
Did you see Michael Jordan
I
play?
did, actually.
Well,
Yes.
there's your proof.
Yes. He does not seem like he is of this world.
He's not. He's not normal. That's an alien.
All right, so Rebecca Benton, I'm going to go ahead and put her comment up here for everybody who's watching. She says, so at the end of the day, let's say all this is true. I always ask, how will this change how you live today? Reality is it won't.
Fact.
I tend to agree with her in that sense, except for, once again, if we had definitive proof, if they released it, I think it would change the way people live on a day-to-day basis to an extent. I think it's easy, once again, for us to dismiss it and not think about it, much in the same way the coronavirus, right? For those of us who are not directly impacted by the coronavirus, and granted, we're all in lockdown, so that's, in a way, directly impacted. I mean, if you didn't have a direct loved one who was diagnosed with coronavirus and either passed away or what have you, it's easy to kind of go through life thinking that this coronavirus is really no big deal and it's kind of blown out of proportion, because that's your perspective. However, your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your neighbor, whomever died of coronavirus, something tells me your perspective is a little bit different.
Yeah.
And you're probably less willing to walk out without a mask and do things because you've seen a direct result. I think the proof of life outside of the solar system would be the same. I think it's easy for us to kind of think it's no big deal and think it's conspiracy, but if we had legitimate, solid proof where it's undeniable, I think that yes, I think we would inherently change. I think our desire to go out of the solar system would increase.
Yeah.
NASA has been shut down for a while now. I think that would come back up. I think we would immediately start trying to focus and figure out finding them. I think you would have, people out there who kind of like our current militias. You'd have people out there training to like deal with the potential apocalypse happening. You'd have the other people who are like the quote unquote hippies who just want to like give them a hug when they get here. Like, you would have all these little factions that would kind of break out, right? I think you would, and not only that, but then also as far as religion's concerned, I think there's certain individuals out there who take certain aspects of religion literal. I think those people they'd have to confront that, right? And if you believe certain things to be true literally, and then now all of a sudden there's proof of alien life form, that could rock your world a little bit for some of those people. I think some of the other more flexible people would kind of easily adapt to it, but there might be others that won't. So I don't know. I mean, to an extent, I think you're right, Rebecca. I think what we just released this morning, no, I don't think it's going to make any big changes. I think it'll give us cool things to talk about. I think it'll be water cooler. Well, we don't have any water coolers because everyone's on lockdown at the moment, but it'll be great
It's
social media talk for the
Zoom
next
talk.
week. Where people will talk about it, but it'll die down and we'll all go back to our normal lives.
Right.
But I do think philosophically it is interesting, though. Like, I'm more interested, I guess, with the people who adamantly and vehemently deny the existence of anything else. That I think I'm more taken aback by, because how can you be so sure that there's absolutely nothing? Brett Shulman actually just popped up. I'm going to put his comment up
Well,
here for everybody as well. Brett said,
no
2 years
recovery.
ago, I saw a UFO in the sky. I was blown away, and my friend Jenny was standing right next to me. Yeah, there's a lot of those like anecdotal things, man. People say
Yeah,
I
man.
saw something, and then Rebecca said, as Jack Nicholson said, we can't handle the truth.
We can't.
Yeah, I kind of agree, man. I think the
As a,
masses would go
like
nuts.
like you said, as a people, we can. As individuals, absolutely, man.
Yes,
Each individual person,
yes.
yeah. But then, different people start throwing out different ideas, and next thing you know, we're all a little nutty.
Well, that's why I said I think that there would be an insane amount of money instantly infused into the space exploration part of what we do. Like I think it
Oh,
would like overnight, all of our billionaires would instantly be more curious.
Dude, Elon Musk is an alien.
Probably, man.
So he's building that portal. That's that's what he's doing.
Well,
Let him do his deal. He's a friendly alien. They're friendly, by the way. They're not
is that how we
these
got the
aliens you
pyramids?
see on TV. I don't know. Pyramids are a little bit before my time, but Elon Musk is during our time. I think that's how we get everything.
Really, I thought you were that old, man. Maybe not. Well,
Well,
technically, I've got more gray than you do, though, so I can't really say much.
please allow me to introduce myself.
Yeah, I don't know, but philosophically, what would that mean to you, though? Right? Like, how would you handle that internally if you found that aliens were legitimately not? It's no longer a belief; it's legitimately real. There's an
My
alien life form out there.
my personal philosophy and faith doesn't have anything to do with it having to stick to a frame of thought that we currently have. So it's not going to change my faith or my belief in any way. I think philosophically, I think humans are still humans, and that's what I deal with
No,
philosophically. It is how humans behave. Now, we already know that humans have other types in us, like we have Neanderthal in us, and that's not human.
right?
Neanderthal is different than human,
Sure.
and yet we still have a lot of that within us. We see how close we are related to like a deer, like this little tiny bit
Yeah. Same with
DNA with
primates
the
too.
deer, and so already with that type of belief system or that kind of acceptance, I guess
Right.
I accept it already. I fully believe that there's a lot more information that I'm not at liberty to know. I'm just not in the know, or it's above my pay grade, right?
Right.
So I'm cool with not knowing. There's a lot of things that I don't know, and I'm cool with not knowing. When I die, I'll let you know. And if I can't come back and let you know, I'll be somewhere else on a different planet or a different dimension or
Right.
something,
Well,
or something else, and we'll see what I do with it.
real quick, I want to point this out. First of all, Brett Schulman, hope your recovery is doing well. For those of you
Right,
who watch previous shows, Brett Schulman was diagnosed with I think it was prostate cancer,
right,
and ended up having surgery to get that removed. He seems like he's doing well. He's recovering.
right.
But he just made a comment on our Facebook feed that Jenny Lee, or is it Jenny Lee? Yeah, Jenny Lee
Yeah, yeah,
was diagnosed with corona. She was one of the
yep.
ones. We've mentioned her on the show numerous times, not by name, but somebody we knew personally that was affected by this. He says that she is out of the hospital and she is getting better every day. So, Jenny, that's awesome. Our thoughts are with you, and we're
Yeah.
glad that you are recovering from COVID and doing well.
I went and visited Brett. He was doing fantastic.
Right on.
It's
But
happy as always.
yeah, I think for me, I kind of agree. The idea or the presence of any sort of alien life form out there doesn't really impact my daily way of doing things, my internal peace. Mainly
Oh,
because my internal peace is more or less based on my interpretation and my response to things, not some sort of dogma that I've attached myself to, if that makes sense. Other words, my internal peace is not based upon any set of facts or any story that I've been given that I believe to be true. To me, my personal inner peace is based upon just my own thoughts, my own responses to things, my own attachment, and things of that nature. So, and I too don't really have to know. I wouldn't be lying. I'd be lying to you if I told you I didn't want to know. Of course, I'd love to know, man. Like that'd be awesome.
do you wait, let's pause there for a second. Would you really want to know?
Yeah, yeah. My curiosity would definitely want to know. My only problem though is I would have so many more questions then. That
Here, hmm,
well, because I'm
here's
I'm
what you
a I'm an individual that's always strived to know things. I have to understand. There's this weird kind of drive inside of me. I have to understand, and I'll go to weird lengths to try to understand. Like if you saw how much I Google on a day-to-day basis, just
yeah, apparently you're
random
thinking
stuff.
about eggs and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Like I will Google. Like I have this weird thirst for knowledge where I just gotta understand things, even if I'll never do anything with it. I gotta understand. And so, if we found the truth or found evidence of an alien life form, then for me personally, yes, I'd want to know. How they have a brain? How do they think? What are where do they come from? I would have all these questions that obviously wouldn't be able to be answered unless I was in the know. But yeah, I think I'd like to know. Why not?
And I'm the opposite. Everything I needed to learn, I learned in kindergarten, and I don't give a shit about any new information.
Color the lines, baby.
It's full, man. It's just full. So it's like I'd have to delete stuff to let more in, and I don't know what to delete, to be honest. So it's just naturally deleting as time goes.
Right.
But here's why I don't care to know, because I can answer to you right now, Trinity, and I can answer to everybody else how I would respond or how I would react.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is, I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
I don't
nobody
know
does.
how I'd really behave or act or think or how it would actually change me to know, to have that kind of knowledge
Right.
where it truly is happening. Now, I mean, I'm one of those that had the ant farm that your mom didn't let you have. You know, so
Freaking
I'm
mom,
those.
man.
Yeah, I'm one of those that as a kid, I liked watching. I guess existing ecosystems that I felt I can control or have power over that didn't know that I even existed or that I have that kind
So
of
you're basically saying you had a God complex.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
I did. And I'd like to say that it's gone, Trinity. So
Sure.
anyway, but I loved watching those little ecosystems and watch how they interacted. So when you're a little kid and you do that, you always think, well, shit, somebody's probably doing the same thing with me. Maybe I'm somebody's,
Science experiment.
those monkeys with those sea monkeys. Maybe I'm a sea monkey.
Somebody bought us in a package.
Right. You know what I mean? Maybe the moon is the bottle end.
Right.
At that age you didn't know, but it has you thinking along those lines.
Right.
Whereas it's impossible to think that 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 I'm not just a cog in a wheel, just like I see them as a cog in a wheel. We know we're changed and we're all linked anyway. So why not? I don't know, man. But is that going to change the way I treat you, the way I treat myself? No,
No, probably not.
hopefully not. But no, I don't think.
It would give me more things to think about in my downtime.
Yeah, I don't think I want to live in a time where that's all exposed. So you know what I
Right.
mean. I'm just not ready to leave this planet, man. I'm cool right here. You know what I mean?
Sure, sure. I think, but I do think for some people, though, from a spiritual perspective, I could see how that could wreck some people. I could see how that would be overwhelming to a lot of individuals. The masses collectively, yes. I mean, we would lose our minds. Collectively, we would. It would be insane. Who knows? I mean, every movie you've seen where we grab pitchforks and go out and go hunting something. Yeah, I could see it being insane. But
Well,
it's
it would unite us, hopefully, right? I mean,
well, that's
uh,
the idea, right? I've actually heard somebody say that. I was watching a show not too long ago, and somebody came across and said the only thing that they could think of right now that would unite us as a people and get rid of all these, Democrat, Republican, black, white, really, all these little
yeah,
differences between us was if some sort of an alien were to come at us, we would unify because at that point it would be us versus them.
yeah. And hopefully, when they come down, they actually have like a little Mexican flag with them that says, "Actually, you guys are the chosen ones." So
Yeah.
you're, you
So
know,
Brett just commented again. Let me see what he said here. Brett said, "I watch UFO videos all the time and enjoy the subject matter in detail. I am mystified by the intelligence of their species. How can we not believe they exist when there are trillions of stars? We, Earth, is just a speck in the universe." And then Enrique said, "My main concern, out of sheer survival instinct, is: are we going to be capable of coexisting?" And then Rebecca says, "I second what Louis said. My thoughts, usuals, are who cares? Same answer with the first, with the flat Earth belief. I won't change how I interact with the world."
yeah.
Yeah, I think Enrique was onto something there. That's kind of where my mind would go: is can we coexist? I can't help it. I've seen videos and movies where they come and destroy the White House, that kind of stuff. So your initial thought would probably go to safety, right? Your initial thought would be, well, wait a minute, you know, can we coexist? I would argue yes.
So someone else is going to come take your jobs. Someone else to complain about.
God. There'd be so many like little factions and militias popping up all over the place. There'd be new religions too, praying to the
Ooh,
new
that sounds like a
aliens.
song. A New Religions too.
Yeah,
Sounds like
man.
a lyric.
Well, it's Scientology, right? We could argue that that's what that is. But yeah, man, I think. But at the same token, if they've been around for that long, then I think the answer is yes, we can coexist, right? Because dude, I've seen UFO type video and stuff like that since like the '50s. Like, so in not only that, but there's some
So what does that
theories.
tell you? That tells you they're friendly. What does that tell you? That tells
Exactly.
you they have no desire to
Yeah.
attack.
Yeah.
They want to coexist because that's what I'm saying. They're here. To me, in my head, they're already here. They've already inbred. We're all inbred. A bunch of
So
inbreed.
another joke that Rebecca popped up was somebody else needing their toilet paper.
No, Jesus, they probably don't even need
Maybe.
it.
Oh,
Hopefully,
but
they're
they might not.
advanced.
They might not have a that kind
Yeah.
of same digestive system. Who knows?
My dog doesn't need toilet paper for some reason, so why the hell do I? My dog's smarter than me.
I think you should go out and crap in your lawn, Louis. I think you should do that.
It's
I'm sure your homeowners association would love that. Just get out there and like the hole number 4.
that is hold number 4.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, as long as you pick it up, they shouldn't say anything about it.
You could do number 2 on the number 4 out of your 5 hole.
Yup.
My sister, hey, what's up, Cindy? She says, I would love it if we could coexist, but as humans can't even Yeah, that is an interesting thing too, right? Is we as human beings can't even coexist, really.
It would at least bring humor back, Trinity. At least we'd be able to make fun of people like with one eye or with 15 arms or something. Like right now, we
Right.
can't even make those kind of jokes anymore.
Right.
So at least we'd be able to say, "Look at you and your 15 arm self."
Richard agrees. Richard says we can't coexist with other people, let alone another species. That would be interesting, right? Like how long before we try to kill them? You know what I mean? Like how long before we start our own little war? The aliens are like, guys, we've been here for years. What are you doing? They end up wiping us out. I don't know, man. But philosophically, I think it would ruin a lot of people, man. I think there would be large groups of populations that would not be able to handle the actual knowing that there's another alien life form out there. Like I think we all romanticize it. And with the movies and stuff, I think, like you said, it's impossible to know how we really react. But I do believe, just statistically speaking, there would be large segments of the population would literally lose their minds.
Well, I mean, it all depends, right? Like if they come out like E.T., that's one thing. If they come out like Alien from the movie Alien,
Yeah.
this like or Predator, you know what I mean? Predator is a little.
Yeah.
I
That's the
mean,
kind of alien I'm good with, bro. You go ahead and stay on your
yeah,
side.
that's the kind of alien I'm not messing with. I'm
No.
like, how are we like friends? How
Yeah.
do we do that
Yeah,
part?
I don't see us coexisting with Predator. The
No,
name
no.
alone means we're prey.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
That just really depends on that Trinity because I'm ready to coexist. Like how do we get that intermingling going
right.
on? You know what I mean, I want to be the father-in-law to that.
Yeah,
So they leave me alone.
if a race similar to the Predator showed up, yes, I'm going to do whatever I
Right.
can do to coexist.
I have 2 daughters. How can we make this right?
Yeah, yeah. Hey, they might not swing that way though. It might be you they
I
want.
don't know. Hey, okay.
You're gonna have to take one for the world, bro.
What am I gonna say, bro?
You're gonna have to take one for the world.
Hey, I will.
You're gonna have to help us out, man.
Market it right here, right now. I'll do that. Chris. I'll do that.
Oh God.
Golly.
But yeah, man, I don't know, man. It would be interesting. It would be interesting to try to explain that to the kids and stuff. I wonder if it would also if it would change our movie making, right? Would we stop portraying aliens as these races here to kill us all and stuff, or would we start portraying them like Cocoon, for instance, where they're here to like love on us and help us? Cindy just completely trashed you. She said, "Offering up your daughter, really?"
I'm just trying to create a peace offering, man. That's all I'm doing.
Going back to the early days where we're offering like goats and land.
If I had goats and land, I would do that first. I can only barter what I have.
That's
I'm
right.
sorry.
I
You know, an alien's probably going to come with this video and go, "You said it was
yeah.
this is a deal,
Yes.
right?"
Yes. You're going to be up on national news here in another week talking about. I swear I didn't mean to.
And that's the other thing. You know, there's a bunch of people that they're not loyal with shit anyway, man. So there's people that'll sell out our country in 5 seconds. So there's people that'll sell out our earth in 5 seconds too.
Oh, here's a good one. Brett says, according to MUFON,
I don't know what that is.
MUFON, I'm assuming it's an organization of some sort. They currently exist among us, and 99.9% of us don't realize it. They also have UFOs that live underwater. Very interesting. And then Richard said, screw it. If we have to keep living like we are now, then let the Predator take me out, and I'll see you at the pearly gates. Sure, man.
I like this. I like this form of living.
Yeah, I'm okay with where I'm at right now, man. Like, I'm good. I'm not ready to leave just yet, man. I'm having a good time.
Yeah, this is my new punishment style. I just look at the kids and says, "Do you want me to kick you out there and get corona? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to stay in this corona-free house?" No.
But what's interesting though is, like I said, everybody at the moment, they fear the unknown, right? Like, so there's a mixture of movies out there and stories that portray them as being these kind, gentle things, and then there's plenty out there that portray them as being here to wipe us all out. Because we fear what we don't know. So that's where I'm curious where the fear would come into play. Like, I think a lot of people would be afraid instantly. People who aren't currently afraid because it's an unknown would instantly become afraid once it becomes known. I think.
Right. I like how Richard took it political right away, man. It's like which side will
He said
go for
Lewis, the sellout people are. Oh, well, I'm
it
not even
probably,
gonna.
but it probably would. It probably would be the Democrats that like try to make try to. I don't know who it would
I'm
be.
not
Who
taking
do you
that
think it
bait.
would be?
I am not taking that bait. I'm going to leave that one alone. I'm an independent, so I'll take them both. I'm good.
Me too. Let's throw a little grenade though. Let's watch them go at each other.
Yeah, that'll be the new debate. Watch, it'll be on. It'll be all over the media tomorrow. Who's worse?
Well, it depends. It depends. Do these aliens come with their own money, or are they are their own resources? Are they bringing something valuable to the table?
They're
Or are
here.
they just
They're
coming
all
to
here to
take?
file for unemployment.
Because if they're just coming to take, these Republicans are going to get really pissed.
All of the aliens are now coming in for filing unemployment. That's it, man.
I think they're going to bring trade deals, actually. So I look at the
Well, who's
positive.
going to negotiate the trade deal?
What is it that we have that you need? Let's
Exactly.
talk about this.
Humans
You
is
have
what we have.
water. You have this water, huh?
Yeah. Well,
The bottled
it would.
water can go up to like $50 to them, probably $50 a bottle.
What would be interesting though is I think we would change our fear of AI and artificial intelligence, that whole Terminator, thing. It would switch from that instantly to alien stuff. We would all be terrified of that.
Yeah.
And then Brett Shulman just came in and says, "Did you see the Navy Blue Angels and Air Force Thunderbirds do the flyover? It gave me chills." Yeah, and then of course Leo says, "I need a vacation." Me too, brother. I definitely. I think we all
Well,
could use one.
he's stuck in there with a bunch of grandkids, man.
Yeah.
He's got like 6 grandkids all over the place. That's
Right.
right.
I think. But
Come
yeah,
down to Florida, Leo. Come chill for a while.
I think for me though, man. Once again, because my belief system isn't structured around any formal religion per se,
Yeah.
and I'm not a diehard kind of. I don't want the word. Try not to offend anybody with any words here, but
Oh, please.
if I was not one of those individuals that was really diehard, like this is the way, this is all literal, I think I'd be fine. I think I would find a way to cope because, like you said, my day to day life wouldn't change, man. Because if there are aliens coming here, I don't envision my house being the one they're knocking on. Like I don't think that they're going to be reaching out to me first. So I believe that the whole "take me to your leader" thing, and nobody's coming down my street saying there he is.
Well, I mean, you're more of an ogre size, so
That's right.
if they try to go after the bigger guys first, just in case you're a threat, you
Yeah.
might be attacked
Where's
first.
my white flags, man? So Enrique says maybe they're making an active appearance because all that toilet paper purchase. It seems like we're going to wipe ourselves out. Nice.
Right.
Nice. But no, I think for me, like you said, I think I'm in agreement. My inner peace wouldn't be touched, right? Because at the end of the day, my spirituality and my peace is not determinant on
Nah.
what's happening around me. It's all about my response to that. And I think that's yet another example. Like, it was number one search for a reason, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's news for a reason because people care, people are interested, people want to know. And I think that I agree with you in the sense of curiosity is one thing, actually knowing is another. I think the actually knowing would scare a lot of people, and I think that we have to find ways of maintaining our inner peace that don't rely on that, because at the end of the day, it just goes to show if your inner peace is reliant upon things around you, it's so fragile. It really is, man. Like that, it can be snuffed away in a second. You can't put your happiness and your inner peace on things that you can't control. At the end
Well,
of the day,
I'll tell you what, aliens won't disturb my inner peace if they exist, but zombies would.
now you sound like my wife, man. My wife wants a zombie apocalypse so bad.
So does mine. Mine's all ready for it,
It's
bro.
so weird. We were married to the same woman, so it
No.
doesn't surprise
Yeah.
me.
It's that box, that supply box for the zombie apocalypse. That's where the N95 masks are.
And-
That's she's able to use supplies out of that box for this.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me, man. My mind is all about it.
Yeah.
Zombies are her thing. She would love a zombie apocalypse.
I don't want to see no zombies. I mean, the closest thing to zombies is when that person in Miami was eating that person's face because they had bath salts or whatever like that.
Yeah.
So no.
Yeah,
Good about that one. I'd rather an alien than zombie apocalypse.
well, yeah, I can see that.
Well, with zombies, there's no out, man. What, Atlanta? I watched that Walking Dead. Where'd they go? They went nowhere.
There
Whereas
was nowhere.
with aliens, at least we got Elon. We can go to Elon and say, hey, man, you got
To
that
me,
Mars ship ready?
Well, I don't understand. All right, and we're getting way off topic, but who cares, dude? I mean, part of spirituality is being able to escape anyway. So let's go ahead and do some escaping right now. if this is alien or a zombie apocalypse, why did nobody just go on a yacht out in the middle of the water? I don't understand. Can somebody explain that one to me?
There would be no show. I
Exactly.
mean,
Just
it wasn't
saying.
in the script. It wasn't the script to do it on the Fear of the Walking Dead, but
Yeah, but they
even then,
burned it
they came
down.
back to water. They came back to the.
Well, they burned it down, right? And did it catch on fire or something? They were some pirates got them or something. I didn't watch that whole show. I only saw a few episodes, but I digress. But you know, in even throughout history, there's been what is that? With the smoke, there's fire. Like with the whole vampires and everything, like all these little mystical things. There's always like a hint of realism, you know, when it comes back to it. Like was it Vlad the Impaler back in?
Yeah,
They
yeah,
always thought he was
yeah.
some sort of a vampire of sorts. He was just an asshole leader, really.
Well, and he bled people out, right?
Yeah, he bled people out. He also did a very ingenious thing. He would the soldiers that would come up. He would when he would kill them, or before they would die, when they were basically immobilized, he would put them on these big spikes
Well,
and let them slowly die on the
right.
spikes to basically tell you as you're coming up, that's going to happen to you if you keep coming up here. And
Yup.
it was a pretty good deterrent for a while until it wasn't.
Yeah, I didn't know Brett Schulman was still doing Up Live, but apparently he is. He just donated 10,000 Surgical Master Orange
Wow,
County.
very cool. Thank you very much for that, Brett. That was
Thank
awesome. And thank you for Upfly for doing
you.
that. Very
Yeah.
cool.
Well, it's a Chinese company. They're trying to make good on what they did. That.
Oh, wow, you are going all in today.
Hey, bro, I got aliens on my side. I'll just point to the Chinese and say, "Look, do they look friendly to you?"
That's only because you've offered up either yourself or your daughter. But what if they don't want either one? Then they're not on your side anymore.
Depends what they're into. Eh? I don't know what they're into. I got to figure that out.
Goats.
I look. I figure I have value. I'll figure out the value, brother. I'll navigate my way through it, no matter what.
Yeah, I think.
I'm a survivor, bro. I'll figure it out.
But it is an interesting thing, though, man. That was the number one search thing, right? Like, we are
Yeah.
so enthralled with this idea that life outside of us that that was literally and when I say number one, like, by far, it was the number one
It's because
search.
people want to get away. It's like that commercial. Want to get away? People are like, I want to go to
Yeah.
Mars. It's like It's like let's believe in something. I guess I don't know, man. But bringing it back, philosophically,
Hmm.
right? Bringing it back to that. So you find out that they exist. You find out that we're coexisting.
Hmm.
Well, it should then make you kind of work harder at appreciating our differences and our likenesses, right? Which would then mean that we are a hell of a lot more alike than we are different. So I
Right.
think that part of philosophy would go up because if we found out that they've been here for, let's say, 3,000 years and they've gone undetected as aliens from another planet, then you would have to say we're a hell of a lot more alike than we are different. And if that's true, then what about another fellow human that you tend to judge just because they're taller than you, shorter than you, blacker than you, whiter than you? Can't dance, you can dance. They can't jump, you can jump. Whatever the hell the stupidity is involved with, right?
Right.
Uh, wouldn't it help us connect? Or
You would
doesn't it
hope
give us the opening to connect?
you would hope so, right? I mean, that is one of the pillars of spirituality is our interconnectedness.
Well, just 50 years ago, there was a large groups of people that believed a certain type of people weren't even worthy of voting or life, and they weren't
Yeah,
even as advanced, and they were more like animals.
yeah, and then
I
they
mean,
let women vote.
yeah, then then all of that has kind of changed, and even though there's some people really trying to hang on to that ideology on
Yeah,
both sides, that's really over with. Except for the people trying to
yeah.
keep it alive, that's really over with. So where would it go if we then found out there's extraterrestrial life forms and they've been here the whole time?
You know, sadly, I'm not a believer in
They are racing.
I'm not a believer, I guess, in the compassion of society. To be honest with you,
Really?
no, I'm not. I think that we are all battling our own demons. You know, as individuals, we're all trying to find our own little inner peace, and I don't think a lot of us have reached that level yet. So I think a lot of us are going to, to lash out essentially and find those differences because it makes you feel better inside. Well, you think it makes you feel better inside.
Right.
That's why we still have bullies and things of that nature. So I just think that in a sense, like you said earlier, it might unify us
Right.
versus them kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like we need as a society, we need somebody to hate for whatever reason. It just seems like we need somebody to hate. And right now we pick each other apart
Right.
But if an alien race were here, I think it would instantly turn to that. I think we would.
Mm.
I think we would turn to them. It would be us versus them, which would be unifying for us. But sadly, sure hated for you for the aliens because I think we would
Uh,
turn against them very quickly.
there's a lot of self haters here, man. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
But to me, the interconnectedness, I mean, is definitely a path to explore. We as a society, we forget sometimes that we're interconnected, right? Like many times, like I can't tell you how many times I was doing groups or whatever with people and telling them about being compassionate and loving towards your fellow man, and oftentimes I was met with the sentiment of, well, who gives a shit? Like it's us versus them. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm taking care of me. I'm handling my business. I can't
Yep.
help them. I
Yep.
can't be for them. And we,
But do you experience that in the middle of the country or just on the edges? Because
um,
because when I go through the middle of the country, you look,
right.
dude. If I would break down right now, I could tell you exactly the type of individual that would help me with my vehicle, even if it's in the mud, if I'm broken down and can't get it. There's a certain
Yeah,
type of individual that just gets, and that's all throughout the middle of the country.
yeah, I agree with that. To an extent, there's also a lot of hatred in the middle of the country as well. I was born.
I'm not saying there's not hatred. I'm just saying that when it comes to compassion, that at the end of the day, if you need a helping hand, something bad's happening, you're gonna find it. It's, in other words, if when I go to bigger cities, right, you could see a homeless guy on the side and everybody walks by, you don't even look at it. Don't look at the person.
Sure.
You don't look at the person. That's just common thing, right? You walk by people, you just don't even look at them in the eye. The
Right.
more you go to the center of the country, the more people wave at each other as you even drive by. You're driving and you wave. You're
Um,
driving and you wave.
I,
You're driving and you wave.
to an extent, I agree with you. I'm going to disagree to the extent of
See you later, Leo.
to the
Thanks
random
for the trucking
homeless
industry.
person. Yes, maybe, but there's a very real sense of certain ideals at times. Meaning, it's one of those
Michael.
things, kind of like right now, how you have the liberals. I'm going to use this as an example. You have the liberal kind of individual who is getting mad at the Republican for being a bully, right? And because they're the most accepting, but they're only, if you look at it, they're only accepting of those who believe the same way that they believe.
Yeah, they're not the most
Yeah,
accepting.
and so
They think they are,
same
though.
concept. Like you throw in a person like a homeless person in the middle of the country, yeah, they might be cool with that. But you throw in somebody with very obvious ideals that are very different from your own, not as open as they normally are. And I'm from that area, so
You're from Montana.
I was born in Missouri.
That is Montana, the middle of the country.
I was born in Missouri. Thank you
How
very
long
much.
did you live in Missouri?
A few months.
Exactly.
But like all my sister is there. Like all my family is in
And your
Missouri.
sister is a very kind person,
Yeah,
Trinity, unlike
yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
She's in the Midwest, like Leo.
She
Actually,
said
she's right there in the
she
same
said
town as you.
one on one people are normally good. Groups are much rougher. I agree with that.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to the interconnectedness real quick though. You and I were talking about it briefly before we kind of went on live, and that is the other thing that I noticed, and we're going to combine the two now a little bit. Why not? We have to take it spiritual at some point. The thing that the astonishing thing that I found, and I said at the top of the show, other than the UFO thing, was the fact that everybody was looking up like how to do stuff.
Yeah.
And we as a society, we claim and we pride ourselves on being these independent little islands everywhere that can do it all and be all. We don't need anybody,
I do.
but we're not. Right? We're all so interconnected. Just from the basics of everybody's watching us.
I didn't make this.
Yeah, everybody's watching us right now on Facebook. Did any of you make Facebook? No.
Nope.
Unless Mark is watching, then hey, bro, can I get a loan?
What's up, Zach?
So if you didn't create the technology that you're watching us on, if you didn't create the social platform, if you didn't build whatever you're sitting on, if you didn't build the house, and so you're dependent on everybody else kind of doing their own thing. Well, in happiness, it's similar too, right? Like I don't know about you, but I personally, I felt my mood change in my own home, and I didn't want it to. Right? I've been in a let's say I've been in a good mood. My wife had a long day. She comes home and she's upset. She's been upset. She comes home kind of like pissy about things. I can feel myself starting to kind of get like a case of the fuck it. I can feel myself just being like, man, whatever. Like just kind of getting grumpy as well because I'm feeding off of that energy, right? Obviously, I'm allowing that to happen and I can change it, but it doesn't change the fact that that initial response was affecting me. And
Yeah.
so we all think we're these independent little things, and we're not.
Hmm.
We're all dependent on one another. You know, whether you agree or disagree with somebody, Democrat, Republican, black, white, straight, I don't care. You're
Right.
still connected to that person, whether you like it or not. You know, like that heart surgeon, you don't know what their political beliefs are, but I bet you want them to fix your heart right now. You
Yeah.
know, and so it's like we have to kind of keep that in mind. And as you were saying, if the aliens have been here this entire time, one would hope that they would look at it and say, you know what, we're connected to them as well. Like we have a lot
Yep.
in common, like you said,
Yep.
because we're not these little independent islands that we like to portray ourselves as being. We are so very dependent on other people, and that was my answer about being compassionate to those around you. If you're approaching those around you with love and compassion, then those people are going to walk away with a much different vibe and
Right.
feeling, which
Right.
means that they're going to now put out a different vibe and feeling to everybody around you. And
Yeah.
and so you know, like for instance, that person who you felt was reasonably rude to you for whatever reason when you're out in public, they didn't just randomly do that. Something happened to cause them to get upset, and then they
Yeah.
took it out on you.
Yeah.
It
I'm
was,
not gonna be their dog though.
you know, it was basically energy, and the energy doesn't stop; it just goes somewhere new, right? And so,
Amen.
you know, we have to change the energy. You know, it doesn't necessarily mean I have to agree with you or I have to like what you're doing, but the energy has to change. And so it's okay to disagree. It's okay to be different. And to me, I mean, that is the overwhelming kind of story here with the UFO thing
Right.
is whether they're, you know, real or not, they're different. And it's okay to be different, you know, and it's okay to not know. It's okay to be unsure. It's okay for all of those feelings.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say is that the energy is going to move anyway. I mean, the energy is constantly moving from one direction to another direction. If right now you're having a great day, well, you're in a positive light and positive energy or positive vibration, whatever you want to call it. But it's going to move around. And if aliens come down, well, we'll just see what they bring to the table with it, man. If they bring a harsh, hardcore energy
Yeah.
and start pushing, and we can feel it, obviously, our hair's going to get up and we're all going to get aggressive. But that's what it really would depend on, is how they present themselves. So if they've been around, they've been very, very, very patient, and they're obviously waiting to see, well, how should we present ourselves?
Yeah.
Because these people are a little aggressive.
You think?
We need to tame them first.
Yeah.
So who knows, man?
We're like we're the hood of the universe.
Maybe.
We're the ones that they gotta
Yeah.
lock the doors when they come by and be like,
We're the ghetto.
I don't know about those guys.
Yeah, we're the ghetto.
Yeah, we definitely, you know, that's the other question, right? Like, are we representing ourselves in the best light if there was an alien life form?
Right.
Brett
Yeah.
says he would love to borrow their spaceship. Yeah, you and me both.
Yeah. We're not even potty trained, bro.
No,
I mean, it's like,
any trip downtown will tell you that. Go to downtown on a Friday night, like 2 o'clock. Yeah, we're not potty trained.
they'd be like, these people pee on their own buildings. What is that? You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, here's a very interesting philosophical question for you.
yeah.
This is something that I asked, and it's related to the UFO thing, not necessarily spiritual, but whatever. We're off the rails anyways. So here's a question that I don't know if it was posed to me or I posed it to myself. I don't remember how I came up with this, but it was a specific scenario that definitely gave me pause and gave me time to think.
Okay.
And so anybody who's watching this, feel free to put your thoughts, and we'll put it on air as well.
All right.
So, if an opportunity came,
Mm-hmm.
and you might have to think about this from different perspectives. Maybe not for you yourself. Maybe not right now because you have kids and things of that nature. But just think not specifically where you're at now in your life, but just philosophically, what do you think
Okay.
about it? If you were proposed or a proposition came to you and says, "Hey, we have a spaceship that is designed to go to the outer
No.
regions that we've
No.
never been able to go to before,
No.
but you won't be able to come back."
No.
You wouldn't do it.
No.
Why not?
I'm not at that point in my life, man. I'm very satisfied. I like where I'm at in my life, and right now I know I have a timeline, and I'm very cool with the timeline that I'm presented. I like the people that I've chosen to be around. I like the people that I was blessed with. On top of that, I like the accumulation of so many of my later life decisions that has gotten me to the place where I'm at. Why would I risk any of that? I'm not missing anything. There's no hole. There's no void. There's no
Right.
search. A matter of fact, earlier when you says, you have a need to know, I really don't, because I feel like the questions that I really needed to know, the strongest questions that I really need to know is, was I loved and was I appreciated? That
Right.
I mean, and now, I mean, this is honesty right here, right?
Sure.
That was the deepest hole and void that I had was, am I loved? Am I appreciated? Am I valuable? Do I have value? And once that became answered by the world around me, be either by the people that I was blessed with by birth, or the people that I was blessed with by having children, or the choices that I make, like Dana, and having her, and then friends
Right.
like you and other people around me. So because that void and that hole was filled, there is nothing you can present to me that I can think of right now where I would take an opportunity to change my current existence
Right.
right now.
Well, before I get to my answer, Brett said he would go in a heartbeat. Pick me, pick me. Rebecca brought up Schrodinger's cat.
Well, as long as his dog can go, he won't go
Yeah.
without it.
Well, and for those of you who don't know who Schrodinger's cat is, basically you put a cat into a box with some sort of thing that's going to kill it. I think he used something specific, but we'll say cyanide. Why not? But put a cat in a box with it. Cover the box. As long as the lid is closed, you don't know if it's dead or not. So whoever opens the box essentially killed the cat because you proved that it was dead. So for me personally, I've struggled with that over the years. When I agree with you now, right? If you were to
Right.
ask me today, no, I wouldn't go. Like, I
Right.
love my life.
Right.
I'm happy. I'm very content. I've got inner peace.
Right.
I love my family. I want to see my kids grow and do things. Had you have asked me 21, 22, when I didn't have all those things, when I was filled with
Yeah.
angst. I didn't have my kids. I didn't have a loving spouse and things of that nature. My answer absolutely would have been yes,
Yeah.
because my curiosity for the unknown would have been overwhelming.
Right.
I had no ties here to keep me here, no reason to stay here. So I would have absolutely gotten onto a one-way trip out into the outer edges of space just to
Right.
see. Because for me, I do have that unyielding thirst for knowledge. It's not that I'm unsatisfied now. It's just I got to know how things work. I got to know why. I want to know why this and why that. That's just kind of ingrained in me. My
I
mom will
asked.
tell you. My mom will tell you when I was a kid, I used to piss her off because I would always ask her why. One of her favorite things was the invention of the internet, because then she could just tell me, "Go look it up." And
Dude, I
so
used I used to read the encyclopedias on the side of my bed. There'd be 7 of them when I'd
yeah,
wake up because I used to care about it. I'm just telling you, at some point in my life, I stopped asking why, because it was like, what are you going to do with that information? And what is it you really need to know anyway? Like, what is it really important to you anyway? And when I found out those basic needs, and let me tell you something why, Trinity, I felt like I already went out of space because I was in a different dimension. When I was using a lot of intoxicants and living a complete different lifestyle and then living a double life where everybody thought, oh, there's the cute little Louie, instead of what the lifestyle that I was really living on the side, which was horrific. And so when I was living this double life and existing, I already felt like I was in a different dimension. So
right,
I already felt like an alien walking on Earth. I already felt like, probably being on another planet. I would never come back. I never thought I'd be back. A
right,
matter of fact, not only did I never think I'd be back, I didn't think there was anything to come back to. I
right.
didn't think that the back meant anything because I didn't feel like I ever had it. So when I worked on me and realized, wow, it was there the whole time. It was there. And isn't that always the way the book ends or the way the stories end? That whatever you're
Yeah,
searching for was there the
yeah.
whole time. So to where? I'm not the Christopher Columbus. Neither was he apparently. He was Cristobal Colon. I'm not. I don't have that need. I'm not Amerigos Vespucci. I don't need to go somewhere and never come back. I like where I'm at and who I'm with,
Right.
and I don't need to ask the question why. All I need to do is embrace and enjoy the moments that I have around me because my time is too short to worry about it. And my philosophy is, the belief is that when I die, those answers will be given to me. So because of that belief system, I know I'm going to know anyway.
Right.
So why rush it? Like Enrique said, why rush it? I agree with that. Why rush it? I'm going to
Sure.
know anyway, eventually.
And Brett said he wants to go where no man has gone before.
Yeah, Brett, I
Well,
could see Brett doing that.
there's plenty of
There's,
places.
isn't that what he would do like
The
that?
Balkan
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
Yeah, I think for me, philosophically, yes. Where I'm at now, I'm just content. I'm good, man. Like I don't need to do all that. I would probably say no at this point in my life.
right,
But when I
right,
was younger, I would have said yes, just because of the adventure, I guess,
right.
of it. The
And those are
adventure.
necessary.
I'm sorry.
Those people are necessary.
Yeah.
Adventurers are necessary. The Brett Schulmans of the world are
Yeah.
necessary. The Elon Musks of the world are necessary.
So but yeah, I think the things that caused me to be as adventurous as I was back then are different now, right? Like I think what motivated me back then was my angst, was my anger, was my frustrations, was my discontent with things.
Yep.
And that caused me to be more adventurous. I mean, I did a lot of really stupid things when I was younger because I really didn't give a shit if I lived or died. Like I didn't care. Like I was doing really stupid things on my motorcycle and racing and stunts and stuff because I was like, whatever, I'll be fine. My whole thought process was, as long as I go out doing what I love, screw it. You know, if I die, I die. But now I have a much more of appreciation for life, right? Because I have kids, I have things
Yeah.
that kind of keep me grounded here.
Right.
But no, back then the philosophical part of it, the idea of journeying where, like he said, no man's gone before, and like seeing things that nobody's ever seen, and the
Right.
the potential promise of this unknown reward that's sitting out there that nobody's ever experienced. That's a really cool concept. But then, obviously the realist in me is like, yeah, but what if you go out there and nothing? Like, you just you're flying out in space for 50, 60 years and you see zero and you
Well,
die alone on a spaceship. That would suck too.
Well, I've lived in a lot of different places, man. We moved a lot when I was a kid. I come from a military family, so we moved very often. And then when I was older and when I was searching, when I was getting better, I moved very, very often. I went by myself to LA. I was out there. I did my thing. So I ran and I looked and I searched and everything. But everywhere I went, I found me. And everywhere I went, when I found me, I was able to work on me. But what I realized is that what I was tethered to, they gave me a sense of joy like I can't even explain, was that family, that sense of family that I was tethered to.
Right.
And it was like an embrace that I can't even explain. So it's a sense of comfort. So when I finally came back to where they lived, where my mom and dad lived and my brother and all that, it just felt good. And looking at now, since I found Dana and since I've forgiven those that I needed to forgive and forgiven myself mostly, I haven't even left. Now I'm very, very stable.
Right.
Stayed with the same woman, stayed in the same home for many, many years, stayed in the same occupation. Whereas if you look at my younger life, I was moving all the time. I was
Right.
moving all. So that's the adventurous guy. That guy was searching.
Right.
This guy, I'm good.
Sure.
I'm settled.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously can relate, man. There was a day in my life where if you would have told me that I wasn't going to have a motorcycle again, I would have slapped the hell out of
Cool.
you.
Yeah, that would
But
have been freaky.
but now, I mean, I traded in my motorcycle to get the truck
Yep.
that I have, and
Yep.
I don't miss it at all. Like,
Dude.
I thought that I would never say that, but what I was getting from it was a certain sense of satisfaction
Right.
that I already have just waking up today.
Right.
So no, I don't miss it. I'm glad I did them. I mean,
Right.
I'm glad I have those stories to tell and those memories.
Yep.
I'm thankful for that. I think it helps me do what I do today. It gives me a good basis to come from when I talk to others, and it makes me more impactful.
Right.
Having said that, would I do it tomorrow? No, I wouldn't. It's just not the life I'm interested in leading anymore. So,
Right. I'm not even as what do you call it? Not what's the opposite of planned? When you do things on spontaneous.
spontaneous.
Yeah, I'm not even as spontaneous as I used to be, even though I still kind of am.
Right.
But back in the day, there's guys that'll probably watch this that remember, like at a spur of the moment, you think the night's over. Next thing you know, it's like, who wants to go to Las Vegas? And we go to Las Vegas then. Or we go to LA to go to a party, or we go to Colorado. I mean, I would end up in another state because it was like,
Yeah.
that is the kind of go, go, go. It's just not today.
Dude, you're talking to somebody that would talk to my boy Terrence when I worked at the Postal Service here in Orlando. I would literally go, we would carpool sometimes. I'd go by and pick him up. I would literally go pick him up and be like, hey, man, you just want to go to Miami tonight? He's like,
Yep.
sure. We call
Yep.
into work, drive 3.5 hours to Miami, party all night, drive 3.5 hours back.
Yep.
We're like, what are you doing?
Yep.
And everybody thought we were nuts, and I guess we probably were, but
Yeah.
we were having fun, man. We didn't care at that time.
It was a different hole to fill.
Yeah, absolutely. To where I'm at now, you tell me, if you were to tell me right now, let's go to Miami tomorrow, I'd be like, man,
Right.
dude, that's a
Yeah.
long drive.
Yeah.
I don't feel like, I'd have a million reasons why I'm not interested. And it's
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I no longer have to fill that hole. Like, I'm already content. That's not going to scratch an itch for me. So,
Yeah, the best way to find out that you have what you need where you're at is if you think you're missing something and you think there's a void and you think there's a hole, go look for it. Go look for it.
Yep.
Go do whatever you think you have to do. Go do the walk. Go do the AT trail. Go backpack Europe. Go wherever you got to go, because what you're going to realize and what you're going to find there on that journey is worth it. And then
Yep.
you'll settle wherever you need to settle, and you'll feel exactly what I'm telling you right now.
pretty much. Well, I think that's our time, man.
Right.
I'm going to go ahead and put the outro in. we're probably staying on for just a few minutes to kind of chit chat for a minute, but this is the end of our segment. Feel free to stay on if you want to ask some questions or just kind of chit chat with us. In the meantime, let me go ahead and set this up and do the outro. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Now that you know better, do better. Peace. Are you still here? What are you doing? I told you, go do better.